Okay, now we have our bread. It's into the size of cubes, and I've got all my ingredients to make the bread pudding, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I've added most of my bread, so I'm just going to add the other bread cubes in there. Got that all in. And then I have my milk, eggs, butter, spices. Oh, and this is so adorable. Cute little spice cup. So we're just going to go ahead and put it in. I don't necessarily put it in any particular order, but that's just me. And of course, I've seen things that say different. And this is a little bit of vanilla extract that we're going to put in there, just a little bit. Oh, by the way, that was 1 stick of butter. So we're just going to put this vanilla extract all over it. And this is 1 can of milk, but I've actually transferred it to a glass just to make it easier to work with. Okay, and this is my 4 eggs. I'm going to put all that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put in, this is brown sugar. I kind of like handling it by hand. So this is all going to bake. So it's going to be just fine. It'll cook in there. And now I'm going to sprinkle in my spices. Now I use cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, allspice. So it'll be best up to you to season it to your taste that you prefer. And I probably use about 1/2 teaspoon of a lot of different varieties of spices. That's delicious. And these are walnuts. If you don't like walnuts, don't use walnuts. You could use pecans, you could use peanuts, or leave nuts out altogether. And these are golden raisins. I'm putting them in there because they give a little more interesting color than just the plain raisins. Okay, now you've got everything in one big bowl. And what you want to do is stir and mix and blend really, really, really well. So I'm going to stir all this up. But you don't want to mash things up so that you just have one big lumpy mess. But just stir gently until everything is well moistened. Let's do that. Now, some people do. I don't necessarily. You can just leave this in the bowl for about 20 minutes and let it kind of basically marinate, which is cool, before you put it in the oven. As you can see, I'm still stirring, making sure all the milk and egg and vanilla and butter and flavors gets all mixed up really, really good. And as well as those big pieces, those walnuts and raisins that were put in there. And I can see the moisture is starting to adhere to the bread. So that's great. Now, once again, like I said, you could just let this sit for about 20 minutes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start filling up all the different little containers that I have. And you can just do it actually in one big dish and then just spoon it out. But for my purposes, what I'm going to do, because I like to share, I'm going to put it make individual bread puddings and put it in these baking cups. I like using the paper-lined baking cups, which are really just the extra large cupcake liners. Because then it doesn't stick to the pan and then you have less to clean up. So just put a little bit in each. And don't worry, it's not going to bubble over the edges. It might rise up a little bit, but it's not going to go over the edges. So just get that all filled up. And then you're going to cook it in a hot oven for about 20 minutes or so. And it's going to be delicious. So let's see. We got all these just about filled up. That looks great, doesn't it? So we'll set that aside. And I've got these other little different decorative pans that I'm going to be using today. So we'll fill that up with that. Nice and full. And I came across these paper baking pans, and they're really, really cute. And this will be good to, you know, take and share with other folks, so that way you don't have to worry if you don't get your baking pan dish back. So I'm going to use this square one because it's cute. Just going to fill it up. Oh, this might use up the last of what I have in this bowl. Gonna get it all in there, and then we're gonna pop all this. Oh, it smells so good. All of this into the oven, bake it up, and then eat it up. It's going to be delicious, I am sure. All right, so let me go ahead and get all this in the oven, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. As you can see, the bread pudding came out beautiful. And unfortunately, this is one that I started eating. I really wish you could be here to smell them. They are so delicious. And like bread pudding, they've got a little bit of weight on them, but it's because of all the rich, delicious ingredients. So the last thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of whipped cream and put it on top of my bread pudding. And that's how I like mine, but some people like to make the cream sauce, which is fine. And I know you and your family and friends and your loved ones are going to just simply adore making homemade bread pudding. So thanks for watching and have a great day.